It's a Victory Friday, and the San Francisco 49ers just got a double dose of good news I can't wait to get to in just a second with you. In this video, we have injury updates, and later in the video, we've got quick hits on rookies, the Seattle Seahawks' biggest nightmare, the most importantly, how much this win meant to the San Francisco 49ers. If you're new here, I'm Nate. Love talking the 49ers. Please consider a like and sub. I do very much appreciate it. It really does help me out. Comment below, guys. What do you think about this 49ers team now? 3-3. We're 6 games into the season. Now we're starting to get into that territory where we've officially passed that 1/3 mark of the regular season games. Where are you at? Where's your head at right now, 49ers faithful? Let me know. We've got big games coming up after this short bye against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are coming in with a bigger rest differential, against the Dallas Cowboys following that, coming back from a better rest differential as well. So how are you feeling about this beaten up 49ers team going up against two very big teams? There's a world in which we could be 5-3. There's a world in which we could be 3-5. Where are you at? Where's your head at? I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this football team and what they've been able to accomplish despite the number of injuries. We're going to get to some injury updates in like 5 seconds here, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic. So that's where I'm at. Let me know where you're at in the comments section below. Injury update. Let's hop straight into that, because that, I think, is going to define a lot of the conversation, not just myself, but in general this week and week and a half, I suppose, as we get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, starting with this. This is the best tweet I could find from Jennifer Lee Chan on the most injury updates in one tweet, but there's actually another one, a big one, a huge one that's missing off of this I'm going to tell you about as well. But let's start with Jordan Mason is going to be okay. That was the name that worried me the most, if I'm totally honest, the one I was really waiting to hear back from Kyle Shanahan, and that's not to say that the other guys aren't important. They all are very important in their own ways, but with what we've been seeing out of Jordan Mason and knowing that we've still got a couple more weeks without Christian McCaffrey, potentially longer, hopefully not, knock on wood, but I'm feeling really good about Jordan Mason being day-to-day, and I did see one tweet that said he will play this week and a half against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if that's feeling or if that was Kyle Shanahan. I haven't listened to the entire call on that yet. So you can let me know in the comments if that's the case, though, of course, to save me some time there. But Jordan Mason going to be okay. That's good news for me. That's fantastic. It was good to see him out there, but yeah, not taking any risks with him. Isaac Guerendo was running the ball pretty well. Patrick Taylor Jr. did a good job as well. So I'm excited about the depth in this running back room. Remember, we talk about Jordan Mason as RB1, right? But he's RB2. And really, in a way, he could have been RB3 as he was last year. If you count Elijah Mitchell and you count, which I think Jordan Mason's running better than Elijah Mitchell has. Just to be honest, I think he would have won in the depth chart anyways. We saw in preseason was like, yeah, Jordan Mason's the guy. Now, if Elijah Mitchell is healthy, and which he's not, obviously. He's out for the entire year. Then you add in Christian McCaffrey. Let's say Jordan Mason's RB2, Elijah Mitchell's RB3, Isaac Guerendo's RB4, Patrick Taylor Jr. is RB5. My goodness, your RB4 and RB5 just went out there and had a pretty good game considering how far they are in the depth chart. That says something about what the 49ers have concocted in this roster from the running back position. It's a stout running back room, and that's not to mention fullback Kyle Juszczyk, of course, and all of the importance he brings to this football team. I'm digressing now, but my goodness, 49ers, well done. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, my goodness, hats off to you. Malik Mustafa, another big one, is going to be okay. Thank goodness. He is a special talent. And George Odom, I'm not sure if he is he's not a starting safety, all right? I'll put it there. And with Huff kind of not being himself and coming back and getting injured and coming back and getting injured, I'm just not sure where Hufanga is going to be. I would like to see him get back to his last season form, of course. But while we're waiting for that, Malik Mustafa being healthy definitely has a big impact there. So I'm excited about him. He had a huge game yesterday in the first half before getting injured. Jordan Elliott back this week. Let's not forget injuries like guys like Drake Jackson, who I picked before the season to have a standout season as a breakout player, as many people were picking him as a breakout player on this defensive line going into the season. He's, of course, out for the season. YGM is still out, so Yetur Gross-Matos has not shown his best yet. He's still got more to show, and him being out is a huge hit. So, yeah, our depth looks pretty good. Evan Anderson, Sam Okuwanu, these guys we covered in the summer as like potential depth guys. Yeah, they're there and they're pretty good, but we're not resting on our laurels here. We need these guys to get healthy. We need them to rotate so that every time Evan Anderson or Sam Okuwanu's in, the whole game isn't resting on them. Malik Collins, by the way, you got to give him some massive credit. He had a great game yesterday. I don't know if I watched him well enough to say great game. I still got to watch the whole game back, but he played pretty well. When he showed up, it was masterful. Did a good job pushing the pocket as well. So anyway, we need guys to rotate on the defensive line going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. We cannot be resting our laurels here. So I'm excited to see that Jordan Elliott should be practicing again. Mooney Ward, we need him back, and we need him healthy. We need him back. We need him the right way back. So it's been hard to have him out there, by his own admission, not playing his best football. I believe he said the worst football he's played in his career. And, we need him healthy. We need him out there. We need him back. We do. And, kudos to Ronaldo Green for going out there. Isaac Yiadom had some big plays yesterday. That was probably on the better side of what we've seen out of him, but still personally, I would prefer Charvarius Ward back on the field. He is your lockdown corner if there is one. There isn't really one, especially against a team like the Seahawks who are chucking the ball up. I believe 53 times they threw the ball. So for us to shut them down with all the injuries we have on the defense was pretty impressive. Not in this tweet, though. Not in this tweet. Ricky Pearsall is going to be back in practice this week. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic news. I'm really excited about Ricky Pearsall being back. No, he's not going to be ready, but they're opening his window, which tells you they've got a few weeks. They believe, this is kind of what that says, they believe that they have 3 weeks before they're comfortable putting him on the field. Could be within that 3-week chunk, but you only have 2 games there, so then you get the bye. It's unlikely he's going to be playing in the next 2 games. In my mind, that's just where my head goes based on the math there. But the fact that they're putting him out there is fantastic news, I think. One more guy is in the tweet, but Matthew Wright. We got to talk about kickoffs and field goals because I wanted to talk about this yesterday. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because there's just too much to break down in a mostly fantastic performance from the 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. A big game on the road in a short week up in Seattle. I don't even know if we can call this a rivalry for much longer if they keep destroying them like they have, those 49ers. Okay, so kickoffs. The kickoff rules at first really worked in our favor. Because when we got that forced fumble, Darrell Luter Jr., picked up by Tatum Bethune, if I remember correctly, that was a big one. That was a really big play that doesn't happen if you have a kicker that can actually physically kick the ball. No offense, Matthew Wright, can actually kick the ball out of the end zone and not let them run it back. So there was a moment where I was like, hey, there's a silver lining to this guy not being able to kick the ball any farther than Mitch Wisnowski did when he had to do a kickoff against the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. So there was something interesting there for me where I was like, well, hold on now. We could see these new kickoff rules play to our advantage because the one that resulted in a punch out, that play doesn't happen last year. It only happened this year because it was going to land around the 3-yard line, somewhere inside the 5. And if it bounces out, which it did so many times by the old rules, you let it bounce out, it's no big deal. You don't have to run it back. And with the 30 being the new change there, had that been the way last year, it definitely wouldn't have returned it. So with the 30, but then with the new rules where if it lands inside the red zone effectively and then goes out, then they take the ball, I believe, at the 20. So not as good of a situation there. So, of course, player got to return it and force the fumble. It was pretty special there. Now, let's talk about him on the kickoff or on the field goals, okay? Because, Matthew Wright, I was a little nervous the very first kickoff, and I was like, I don't know if he can kick it out. I don't know if he has the distance. And he didn't really seem to have the distance all game long. But that being said, his longest ever field goal, I believe, is 59 yards. And he was really good with his his field goals, excuse me. 3 for 3, I think, something like that. And he hit his point after. So, hey, fantastic job on from the field goal point of view for the fill-in kicker, I guess we should call Matthew. But Mr. Wright, I'm sorry to say this, I don't know if we would be putting you in the position of kicking an important field goal, an important part of the game, anywhere beyond 50, 55 yards, right? I don't think you're going to see Kyle Shanahan trust him enough in like a 4th and short situation, for example. They're just going to go for it. In a 4th and long situation, if the kickoff is going to be somewhere around that 55, 60-yard mark, you're probably going to see, no offense, Matthew Wright, you're going to see Wisnowski come out there, and you're just going to hope he can Kaufman corner these guys and do what he did yesterday, although not corner. Yeah, heck of a game punting. So we'll have to wait and see, of course, how that all plays out for him. On the injury front, not great that we don't know what's going to happen. You know, he's waiting on his MRI is the official report. Dislocated his shoulder, went back in, but you'd still want to see him. Yikes. Yeah, you still hopefully he can be healthy for the game. Otherwise, the 49ers are going to be looking for another kicker again this week. So we'll wait and see what happens. They'll know more after the MRI, probably by Monday, Tuesday. You'll probably be getting updates from Kyle Shanahan on what the plan is there, or you'll just hear about kickers being brought in, and there's your decision. I want to get to some other stuff. We got to get to some quick hits and stuff, but before we do the quick hits, how much did this game mean to the 49ers? You know, for all the people out there that were challenging their belief, challenging their attitude, challenging their want to win, their desperation out there, to be handed 2 huge blows on special teams. One of your own admission, one of your own fault. But to have another one that was 100% the ref's fault. All right? And I blame the refs. Kyle Shanahan did a really good job of saying it's not actually the ref's fault. They just used the footage that they have. It's the NFL's fault for not making sure that they have all of the available footage. It's madness to me that in a primetime game, only game on the television, everybody sitting at home has a better view on what actually happened than the actual referees themselves. That's crazy to me. But whatever the case, this 49ers team, whatever you want to say about their want to win, their desire, their my goodness, their ability to close out games, all that good stuff. This 49ers team gave you a picture. The 49ers actually posted this on their official Twitter account that gives you a little bit of a picture in what this game meant to these guys. Let's give this a quick watch. And apologies. Let's try again.
Came out as aggressive, everything we asked for, man. You did it. You did the whole first half. Guys, nothing changed the second half. It's just a reminder of how hard football is. All right, you guys stayed with it. All right, what about the rookies today, man? I might mess it up right now. I think Malik got a pick. I know Renardo got a pick.
Yes, sir.
Guys, what about Isaac giving up his first career touchdown? Hey, it was smart, man. It's waiting. Hey, don't let Juice be in your ear, man. All right, Juice got the TD. Matt, hell of a job, man. 3 for 3.
Shoulder looks okay, right?
Appreciate everyone here. All right, guys, we got 3 days away. All right, get off your feet. Get your body right. Get your mind right. Take that break. Let's come back Monday ready to go, man. We're first in the division right now. Let's keep it that way. Yes, sir. Feel me? You guys came out.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I get chills watching that because you see how much it means to the players. You see how much hype they had after that win, an important win, a game that you kind of, when you look at, when the schedule comes out, that away game to the Seattle Seahawks is always one of the ones that you're looking at. As a tough game, as a challenging game, it's always going to be close despite being up by 16 points. We'll come back to that later some other time, but I'm feeling really good about where the 49ers heads are at. We even saw a little bit of humility out of guys after the fact. Oh man, this is just popping into my head, but it was Nick Bosa who was interviewed after the game and was talking about how he knew he needs to be getting to the quarterback in those situations. I forget the exact wordage that he used, but talking about how those pressures, which, my goodness, I've got a tweet here somewhere with those pressures. I don't know where it is. I'll pull it up in a second here, but he was incredible. Here's Nick Bosa. 14 pressures. He pressured 1/3 of the snaps, basically. Just shy of 1/3 of the snaps. That is pretty incredible. We saw, if you watched on Thursday Night Football, if you watched it live, you saw the get-off speed that he has, being the highest in the NFL. Nick Bosa had a heck of a game. And after the game, you saw some humility, which I talked about this last week, being super key for this football team is having humility. And he, after having an incredible game, he mentioned that he knew that it's on him. Guys like him, as he put it, guys like him need to be finishing the job, going all the way through and actually getting to the quarterback and actually sacking the quarterback. So that was cool, man. That was cool. Loved to see that. Got some quick hits for you. Let's just pop out there and let's talk real quick about George Kittle. George Kittle is showing himself to be the most valuable player in the red zone right now. You don't have Christian McCaffrey, so you need a guy. Hopefully, ideally, you'd have more than one guy. But right now, we're seeing that George Kittle, who, thanks to PFF for posting this one, most catches at 10 in the NFL in the red zone, most yards in the NFL in the red zone. Of course, that goes along with catches, basically. And most touchdowns at 5 touchdowns. George Kittle in the red zone. Most touchdowns in the red zone for George Kittle. That's awesome, and that's something worth celebrating there, of course. And I want to give some massive credit to that. I think the beauty of this, you look at how the 49ers have utilized George Kittle and some of the plays that you close your eyes and you can already see him on the deep ball kind of into the corner, and then the slant today, or it wasn't a slant, but the one yesterday, where he cuts across and he's right on the inside corner, and then in the middle of the field today, Brock Purdy did an amazing job trying to sell a couple other throws. If you slow it down, you see him looking at a couple different guys. It almost looked like he never planned to go anywhere else. He was going to George Kittle, and I'll take that aggression, that mindset of he's my guy, I'm going for him, because we need a little bit more of that in the red zone. We need a little more of this is the guy, we're setting it up for him to be the guy to get this ball right now. So pre-snap, I think Brock Purdy knew exactly where he was going. Those first two head movements weren't enough to be reads in my mind. It seemed to me, I could be wrong, it seemed to me that he was always going George Kittle on that play, the one in the middle of the field. But all that being said, there's a beauty to having a guy like this who's doing the most in the red zone, because that's going to stack up, and teams are going to know about that. And that means that they might change coverages against him, which is going to open up Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel, guys like that. Now, there's a question about personnel packages in the red zone. We could talk about that later. Again, we've got a long week and a half little break here. We can just stay happy on this Victory Friday. We don't need to get into any of the weeds on some of the negatives. But, so happy that Kittle is standing out there, because we definitely need the help in the red zone. So if that can help, maybe make defenses think differently about him, then there's your opportunity to now free up some other guys and some other looks. That being said, we got to get on to another quick hit, which is those rookies. My goodness. We talked about them. You heard Kyle talk about them. This is a great post from JDFA. This draft class won this game. Pick by Mustafa. Pick by Green. I literally said the same exact thing yesterday. And so did he. I'm not trying to take credit like I'm smarter than him or anything like that. He's a genius. But then the game sealing, huge run by Isaac Guerendo, running behind Purdy, which, by the way, Kyle Shanahan was not a diehard fan of. Kyle Shanahan actually doesn't even think that he meant to go down. He acted like he meant to go down. He had a funny tweet about it later last night, basically talking about him making business decisions or whatever, however he phrased it, making a wise decision to let the clock continue to run. And I respect that. And Kyle Shanahan basically said, just get the touchdown, man. Just get the touchdown. And with how our red zone offense has been this season, happy for Kyle Juszczyk. That play was brilliant. That was a brilliant play. I think that it completely surprised the Seahawks. They did not see that coming at all. That being said, you do understand where Kyle's coming from. Like, dude, just get the touchdown. And he actually thinks that the tackle, that it was a real tackle and that it was not him going down trying to save time or whatever. So either way, even if Isaac Guerendo did go down on his own and it was an accident, or not, it was on purpose, even if that's the case, we got to give Isaac Guerendo some massive credit for thinking that way and having the presence of mind to do that and being willing to put his own glory aside for the glory of the team. I respect that massively. I do really respect that out of a young man who, obviously this is what, Brian Baldinger said, like, golly, it must have been 4 weeks ago, that this was going to happen. That the second, one of these moments, he's going to split the safeties or something like that's going to happen, and he's just going to he's got that 4.3 speed. He's just going to blow everybody out of the water. And we saw it happen finally. That was fantastic. Running behind Pooney, by the way, Dominic Pooney, while we're talking about rookies, well done there from Dominic Pooney. Tatum Bethune with the fumble recovery as well. So lots to be excited about there. I wanted to also throw out, not a rookie, but let's talk about, my goodness, Deommodore Lenoir. He had an outstanding game. Baldy had an excellent Baldy breakdown on Deommodore Lenoir, and just seeing how he's reacting and what he's doing, how he's thinking, his athleticism, his speed. He's really encapsulating 49ers football with that intensity, that fast speed, quick, not really thinking about what he's doing. He's able to be at that position now where he just knows what to do. He had an outstanding game, so we have to give him some massive credibility for what he did as well. We have turned this video by accident into a 20-minute video, so I better shut up now, and we're going to close this one out. My goodness, Faithful, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you're feeling about this 3-3 49ers team who seems to be figuring some things out with a mountain of injuries, and they're finding ways to churn out some wins now, which is great. We're going to love that every single day. As always, Faithful, what a time to be alive.